Hello everyone, this is Aaron at Mecha Lines again with another unboxing. This one is a little bit different from our normal seasonal unboxing, as today we're only taking a look at one, but it's a really big one. So as you can see, this is the Sentinel Metamor-Force Bari-ation Choujuushin Gravion. This come from the same show, the show with the same name, Choujuushin Gravion, which was mainly illustrated by Masami Obari sensei himself, which I am a really big fan of. Even this box art is illustrated by him. So let's take a look at the around the box. This is the image, some sample image of the figures. You can see the accessory that it comes with on this side. So you got to just get some lights up on here. So this is the Grand Kaiser, along with the 4 Grand Divas. This is the Drill, the Graviton Crescent, and the G Pistol. This box is really enormous. I think it's even bigger in size compared to the Reobot Majin Kaiser, which is probably the biggest box that I have. Okay, let's take a look inside. So hard to get out there. Whoosh. So this is come in clear plastic tray instead of foam like the Dankuga. So here you can see the Grand Kaiser, the G Shadow, the G Drill, the G Attacker, and the G Striker. Then on the second tray we have the fin for God Gravion form, the mask when equipping the Kurenai no Kiba, the 2 hands for the Grand Kaiser, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of hands for the God Gravion. The Gravity Crescent effect parts, 2 G rifle, the Graviton sword, and the Kurenai no Kiba, which is a really huge sword. I think it's even comparable or even bigger than the Kaiser blade. This is the instruction. Inside you can see some details about how to transform, more like combine this thing. So the Gravion combination is not really anime accurate, especially in the body department, but overall I think it's a pretty decent way of adapting it. Perfect transformation is pretty hard to do. The Grand Diva separately. This thing is so huge. The packaging comes really well protected, with a lot of bubble wrap and plastic wrap around the figures, so you don't need to worry about damaging or paint chipping. But I would prefer it to come with like Dankuga style, where there's all the foam all around with these protective bubble wraps as well. So I much prefer that style other than this. So here is the Grand Kaiser. Immediately you can tell that it is very decent in size, very heavy as well. Let's stand him up. Let's take a close look. So painting and sculpting on this thing is immaculate. All these gold is really shiny, really well painted, and it is actually very hard to chip. Even the orbs on the middle is painted with a beautiful metallic red, and the eyes as well, right in there. And the small details, these gold rivets here, they're all pretty well painted, mostly perfect. So as I go, I'll keep talking about some good things and bad things of the figures. So articulation on the Grand Kaiser is not bad. Because the main body of the God Gravion style anyway. So let's start from the legs. You can have a pretty decent kick because of the thighs and the skirt. It will probably not being able to kick that high because the ball joint in here is really big. It can move back that much. There's really a little bit of loose thigh swivel. I don't know why it is so loose. Probably can be only my figures, but yeah, I hope nobody got that. Double jointed knee, as expected. There's the die cast joint down there. I don't know if you can see it. Try putting some lights in there. Yep, the die cast joint in there, which allow for a lot of room for movement, and also a pivot as well. So leg posability, nothing to complain about. Really good, really stable. Next is the upper body. So there's swivel at the hip joint. Has a really decent ab crunch, not much going backwards. Yeah, so just go forward, backwards, not much. Don't force it. And here's, you also got a lot of side to side as well. So here is one of my main complaints about this figure.
Is this armor part, shoulder armor. So it goes up and down like that, and it does spin. swivel like that, but it cannot accommodate the arms. So when you try to spin it forward, it will not be able to fit the arms inside. So it's kind of like weird angle. I don't know why they would decide to do it like that. So like, I'll just turn like that. You cannot really fit the arms in, and it will look kind of weird.
So if they could fix that, that would be awesome. So the arms joint can go all 360, but because of the weird shoulder armors, it cannot do that. Can move out really far up. Also has a single joint elbow, like that. It has swivel at the bicep, another swivel at the wrist, but it's more like a transformation gimmicks. There's a little bit of a pivot around here, not pivot, a little bit of a bend around here, like that. Not much, but you know, I'll take what I can get. Head is also pretty limited, so it's on a single ball joint, so it can go all the way around, look up and down, but quite limited. And yeah, you don't want to chip that gold coating on that. So overall, the Grand Kaiser is, I'd say, satisfiable. I guess I can live with it. It's not the best design ever, but it's not the worst either. My main complaint is just these shoulders, which is just completely, you know, weird in design department. Standing it up is also a little hard. You need to swing the leg back a bit so that it can support the weight. Next, let's take a look at the G-drill. G-drill is pretty basic, actually. Impeccable painting as always. So the cannon can move out and have a little bit of a wiggle to them. And here is the God Gravion form arms in here. So we'll talk about that in the Gravion mode. Next is the G Shadow. Really nice looking, really nice mechanical details with all these gold parts on it. So it has the God Gravion helmet on here, and yeah, the head is a parts form, which I'm not really a huge fan of. The wings can go up and down like that, and yeah, the inside got a little bit movement for the gravity crescent effect parts. Oops. Yeah, if you move it not carefully, it will fall. So careful. Next is one of the G fighters. So I don't know if it's a G attacker, G striker. I think they both look the same. So they're mostly the same as each other anyway. So this is how it comes right out of packaging. So to form the plane mode, just push this part down a little bit, like that. And yeah, spread the wings, everything looks good. The whole thing is very heavy, because all these parts like there, and that's this one as well, is entirely die cast, which is very helpful in getting God Gravion to stand, but also drags down on the joints of Grand Kaiser, because his joint is not die cast, it's plastic, and these very heavy die cast joints will drag down the whole thing and make it very hard. Yep, so that's one of the G Striker. The other one is pretty much the same anyway, so there's not much to talk about. Yep, pretty looks really good. All the painting, nothing to complain about. If only they put that much investment into the designing departments, it will probably be a much better result. Well, now that we have everyone here, let's do the, do you know what it is? Grand Knight Shogun, Gashin Seo. So the Gashin sequence of God Gravion is a little bit complicated, so bear with me for a while, because I'm not really used to this either. Taking the entire arms out will make it easier to do this, because you're gonna be a parts forming anyway. Make sure you hear it clack. That means it's locked in place. There's a peg in here, so put that in. This one as well. And here comes the hard part. Open up the whole body like that. So before it should be like this. So try it out like that. Take this piece out. That.
Make sure you angle it the right way so that when you collapse the body, it will be okay with that. So like this.
Oops, before putting that in, push the neck, the color up, the gold color, these two parts of the Grand Kaiser down. So just go all the way back. Now you can put these ones in. Because the basic for this is you gotta pick the right angle and push it in accordingly. Yep. Got that in. Next is the body parts. Open this flap. Expand these two parts out. Push them out like that. When you hear a clack, and you can see the black holes parts on the front of the stomach. So that's when you know that you have already got them expand the right way. Now close up the body. Just angle it the right way. Close it up. This part is always a little bit difficult. careful to align them into the right joints, right peg. Close up their back. Next is the G drill, which is probably the easiest of the combination sequence. So this one, just let your finger pry this open a little bit and drag this one down. Don't force it. You need to push it out a little bit. Don't force it because it's gonna break the peg. Just rotate that in to the drills. You can open up the drills. There's really visible lines, so you can just follow those lines. Open up the drills, collapsing it, put it back together. That, and here. Before that, push this one in first. Put it in the hand joint, arm joint parts. Do the same to the other side. It's gone in. Next is the G striker and G attacker. Those are probably the hardest part. Here. Open up these back. So drag this part down a little bit. Open up this part. So here comes the hard part. So there's a small gut tie joint in there. This one, this black one, which is very hard to get angle the right way if you are not careful. So it might take a few tries to get used to, but yeah. So for Grand Kaiser legs, open this up. It's not gonna be a really perfect fit, so it's just leave it like that. Just wiggle it out so that you can get it as close as possible in there. Like that. Now, what you need to pay attention to is how the the feet joint is located. If it's joined like this, the other one will be on the other way. So if it's like that, it means this one is a right leg, because it can pivot to the right like that, so it's the right leg instead of the left leg. So doing that like that, so that's the right leg. So you need to be careful so you don't mess up. when it goes in, it feels a little bit like it's locked in place, but the lock is very feeble, so you gotta be careful with that. So now close this part up. Close this part up a little bit, and pull the wings down like that. That's one leg done. Do the same to the other side. Like that. It feels pretty okay, but when you move the leg around, it's easier to pop off. So just be careful not to move it around too much. Try to move this part, or just hold the whole thing as one and move. Because if you don't do that, it's gonna pop up really easily. So now let's try to stand him up. The very heavy legs help it stand up. But yeah, aerial pose is gonna be pretty hard. Next is the final part, the G shadow. First, detach the head of the God Gravion. Separate these two. Just like this is good enough. Yep. Next, let's move on to the head. So we need to replace parts from almost all of the head anyway, so let's just go ahead and flip up the side armor first. Once you flip one out, it's easy to remove the other parts and, you know, pop the whole helmet off. You should also change the fifth fin on this one. Do it very carefully. And replace it with the fin on the other tray that came with it. This part. Just attach very easily, just put it on like that. Oops. Yeah, this thing looks pretty okay. Yeah, pretty amazing as well. As for God Gravion, turn his head around to review the God Gravion face with a little bit, you know, extended chin. Hold on to these parts because you're gonna need to keep it later. Next, put these over. The G shadow actually doesn't really lock in place at the front or at the back either. It just kind of the back one is kind of just, you know, there. So it might make it a little bit hard for it to stay on all the time when you play with it. Like that. It's just, you know, it's just like that. It doesn't really, the back one doesn't really lock onto place. Next with these parts. Separate them. And put the old helmet on first. You should spin the head onto the sides for it to easily go in. This one on this part. Try to get it in the. Try to get the peg in. To the other side, do the same thing. Back, it still has a little hint of not going in directly. So like that, the head at this part, you can see it's got a little bit of a seam there. Got tight complete. Got Gravion in all his glory, maybe, because yeah, when you hold it in play in your hands, it's really good to handle. It's really heavy. It feels really premium with all these top quality paint, but playing with it is not really the best experience ever. Handling a Sentinel Metamor-Force figures. So let's talk about articulation. The shoulder is still the same as the old, the Grand Kaiser, with the, but it's more limited now because of the G shadow on the front. Arms, bicep swivel, can move out pretty high. There's another swivel at the elbow end, double jointed elbow. Legs, hips movement the same. This one is the same. And really nice pivot. Toe action, back and forth. This one can just move up and forth to accommodate whatever pose you want to put the feet in. So yep, while it looks absolutely awesome, it will be a top class display piece on the shelf. It's not really a figures meant for, you know, playing around with. It's not because it was fiddly, it's far from it. It's pretty solid, aside for the legs, easier to pop out, too easy to pop out. But the limited articulation in the arms areas may make it a little bit underwhelming for others. Let's talk about the Gravion's accessory. So this is the Graviton gun. The handle can open up like that, and you can just slide the trigger finger in. So this is the one. It's got the trigger finger right there. Just slide it in. That. And you can just pop up one of the hands to put it in. It's pretty easy, straightforward. You actually have two sword holding hands. One small, one with the big hole, one with the smaller holes, to accommodate the two different swords. So because the Choujuushin is pretty, the handle is pretty small, it's can be used with the small hands. But the Kurenai no Kiba is impossible to use with the small hands because it just won't fit. like that. And pull out this part, put it on this one, slip the hands in, put here. Oh, good. Next is the gravity crescent. Just slip a finger down there and pull these parts out. Not a really foolproof strategies, but you know. Take the fake parts, put it in. Like that. Hold it with these hands with small pegs right there, where you can just plug it in one of the vacancies on this one. Yes. So there's small holes in here. You can just slide the arms in, the hands in like that. And that it holds pretty well. Next is the last weapons. So it's the Kurenai no Kiba, really nicely sculpted, beautiful, clear orbs. You can pull this one out. Insert that. Guess we're gonna do the Bari pose anyway, so let's just slip 2 hands in there and close this up. So here comes the part. You need to switch back to the old Grand Kaiser face in order to stick on this mask. Finally, I got it to stick on. That took a longer time than necessary. Every time you want to switch face, you want to do something, you get the gravity crescent out or get the Choujuushin out, so it's kind of more complicated than it needs to be. Other than that, this thing looks absolutely beautiful. Really feels nice. Very premium with all these matte paint and the really nice looking gold metallic right there. Also, shoulders could need some work. I'm not really happy about the shoulders at all. The other parts I can take, but yeah, the shoulders is not really the best thing there is about this figure. So maybe overall I rate this 6.5 over 10. That's really taking into consideration my love for these figures and for the series as a whole, because you know, with a figure that's kinda not really what Metamor-Force is all about, and it got too much shortcoming comparing to older releases like the Dankuga, which is also a lot of multiple parts combiners, but it worked perfectly. So yeah, that's probably my main complaint about this. But this is probably the best Gravion figures to date. So if you don't mind what I'm just rambling on about, get this one and then, you know, wait for the next chance when Sentinel release Soul Gravion and see if they have made any improvement about it. So get this figure if you are really have some really big cash to spare, and yeah, don't mind what I've mentioned about this figure. it's a really great piece to be on shelf display. I mean, this is probably the most beautiful piece I've ever had on my shelf, aside from the Riobot Machine Kaiser, of course. This is Aaron signing out.